Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening as the case may be. Welcome to Big Fella Stadium here in Featherstone for today's Kingston Press Championship match, the final game of the year between Featherstone Rovers and Whitehaven. Quick rundown of the team news for you. Sorry, competing with the PA, I do apologise. Full back is number 32, Louis Jouffre. In the three quarters, number 5, Jaden Burns. Number 21 is Chris Taylor. 28 is Ed Chamberlain, and number 2 is Craig Talbot. In the halves, number 25 is Dion I, and number 15, Grant Gore. In the front row, number 30 is Richard Beaumont, and number 24, Ted Chapello. And in between those two is James Newton. In the second row is number 4, Scott McAvoy, and number 13, Tyler Hedby. And the loose forward is number 23, Sam Brooks. On the bench for the Whitehaven team, number 22 is Curtis Quinn. Number 8 is Ben Davies. Number 27 is Jay Chapello. And number 26 is Greg Wild. The Rovers line-up sees Will Sharp at full-back wearing number 2. Rovers missing Ian Hardman after picking up an injury last week. So a three-quarter line that leads, that reads Ben Blackmore, Jamie Cording, Will Milner and Jai Hitchcott. The half-backs, as you were last week, is number 6 Paul Sykes and number 36 is Paul Cook. In that front row is number 8 Jordan Baldwinson and number 10 Paul Wood. And in between those two is number 9 Andy Ellis. In the second row for Rovers, number 19 is Alex Foster, and making his Rovers debut is number 39 Steve Snitch, and the loose forward is number 13 Captain Tim Spears. On the bench for Rovers, number 15 is Jack Bussey, number 27 is Jack Ormondroyd, number 23 is Luke Teasdale, and number 17 Matt James. Delighted to welcome back to the commentary box after missing the last couple. Joe, your thoughts on the team first of all?
Well, it's quite a changed team since I was last here, Ben. What's happened while I've been away? We looked odds on to finish in that top 4. We've just gone away to Bradford, pulled off a great result. I think it was our best performance in 2 years, and since then it's all gone to the pot. Now, unfortunately, there's no chance of making that top 4, but still, we can finish the season on a high and we can come away with it with some silverware in hand. Most obvious absence from the team though, Rennie Maitua. It's been announced he's offered for the rest of the season, but he's still here to support the lads. I've just seen him walk into the stand tonight, so it's good to see he's going to be here to cheer on the lads. Will Milner in at centre and Paul Sykes going into standoff, so those two, last time I was watching them rather, but the other way around. Be interesting to see how two experienced players in Paul Sykes and Paul Cook can combine in the halves. Can they lead this team about the park, and can we overcome this Whitehaven side who really need the win because it's very tight at the bottom of the table?
Steve Snitch coming in on loan from Doncaster as well. His first appearance for Rovers. What do you think we can expect from him?
Well, there we have it. Ryan Verlinden has got out on loan, so he's going to get some much needed game time over at Donny. And as for Snitch, looks like Donny are going to go down this season. He's got an opportunity to put himself in the shop window here, so I'd expect a big performance from him.
Steve Snitch is a 39th player Rovers have used this year, which is an interesting stat. And Ian Hardman only needs 3 tries for 100 tries at Featherstone. So a couple of stats there. Could Ian Hardman get his... Ian Hardman, of course, missing today. So he'll be, after the concussion last week, how big a loss is that to Rovers, not having Ian Hardman in the team?
Well, you can see that we're lacking in the centre position with Cording and Milner, 2 players for whom neither is their first choice position, but we both know that they can do a job more than enough. Jamie Cording, where he went out to centre at the back end of last season, he was very impressive. He's a strong runner of the ball, and with Whitehaven missing Jesse Joe Parker out wide, we could look to overrun them there.
Indeed we could. Paul Cook is playing his 399th career game today for Rovers. Well, not for Rovers, for his career. He's had an impressive career. He's caused us a lot of problems over the years, and his experience experience is going to be vital for Rovers in this Championship Shield, isn't it?
Certainly, it's this season above any season. I think we've noticed how important the kicking game's been, and that's been an issue for Rovers so many times. But Paul Cook is an excellent kicking game. He can pick out a patch of the field like no one. Definitely, when we're going to play these teams who are going to be hungry, they're going to be coming at us all the time, because plenty of them are looking to avoid relegation, and London and Dewsbury in particular will be looking for that silverware like we are. We need to be able to pin them back, take some respite, and make sure we can control the territory, because you can't go all out for 80 minutes. It's not possible for part-time players. So you've got to be able to control the territory and not be under pressure all the time.
An interesting stat from Rovers' point of view. This is our lowest league finish since 2005, when Rovers were in fact relegated that year. So it's been a disappointing season for Rovers, and a lot of disappointed fans out there. They've got a point to prove tonight, and also in this Championship Shield, haven't we?
It's been very disappointing, to be honest, but you have got to account within that the maximum number of full-time clubs we've had in the Championship before has been the one. During that time we've been speaking of, we've not been facing any full-time teams, but there's been two that have finished above us, and we've managed to finish above London so far, at least, this season, and they're a full-time outfit. Halifax, they've been very impressive, and very few clubs at the top level have been hit with the injury woes that Rovers have. Been looking at the Fans for Man of the Match polls online, and head of the table for Man of the Season is Andy Bostock still. What a big miss he's been in the forwards. Last season, Ben, we've been hit with this injury crisis. It's cost us, I think. I don't like to make too many complaints, because there were plenty of times we could have overcome some of these difficulties, but 2 years on the trot, it's been an issue. That's a bit suspect to me. Perhaps it's just poor luck.
Rovers have lost 3 straight games leading into this match for the first time in 2009. So the last time Rovers lost 4 straight games, Joe, was 2006. They'll be wanting that record to read today as 4 straight defeats, will we?
No, certainly not. It's important that we enter that closing stage of the season. We're on a high, because there's going to be teams out there hungry, like we say. Dewsbury, they're a team that have come and beat us in this run of 3 games. We're going to have to face difficult opponents like them. So it's important. Whitehaven, they're going to have a game against us as well. We don't want them to have the momentum next time they face us.
At the moment, all Rovers need to do today is win to secure 5th spot in the league table. So Rovers will be looking for that win today, Joe. We need to get some confidence back. 3 confidence-crushing defeats at home down here to Dewsbury. And then, yes, granted, the 2 away defeats at Lee and Sheffield. But they're going to take the confidence out of this team, and the heads will be down after failing to make that top 4.
Well, when I came back, I always planned it, because we had a Saturday night game. On the Sunday, I'd go face some of the opponents we'd have in the coming weeks. I intended that to be Halifax Bradford, but unfortunately it's going to be Hunslet Workington. That's got me down, certainly. It could well have the players down, but they just need to play with a bit of style and flair tonight, I think. Give the fans something to cheer about. Whitehaven are coming out. They're going to have this travelling support. They're going to look to impress. They need the points. Rovers need the performance.
Indeed, Whitehaven out in the pitch in their away strip of purple, just awaiting the arrival of the Rovers team. It looks like Rovers will be playing down the slope in this first half. Whitehaven lining up as if they're going to be kicking off. Today's match referee is Mr. Tom Crashley, and interestingly the match commissioner, Joe, a former referee from a long time ago, is Mr. Colin Morris, as Rovers come out on the field now.
Indeed, got a local ref in Tom Crashley. We wouldn't ever want any ref to be favourable, we'd always want them to be even, but if we got the bounce of the ball a couple of times, that would be nice, I suppose.
Hey, so Rovers are out on the pitch, they're lining up to field possession. First time round, there goes the hooter, here comes the referee. It's live, it's a Big Fella Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers against Whitehaven. And Rovers are going to get first use of the ball, attacking down the slope. It'll be Whitehaven who start this match, and with Louis Jouffret, the Frenchman who came in his first match for Whitehaven was at Blackpool. I watched that game and he looked very impressive in that match as well at Blackpool, Joe.
Was very impressive. He's had good form since then as well. He's got plenty of pace to burn. His fellow countryman who came to Whitehaven, Jordan Sigismu, he's gone back to Catalan. He wasn't at Catalan rather when he came over, but he's returned to France to play for them. Didn't do him much good the other night against Huddersfield, but that's another story.
It is indeed. Whitehaven aren't a team that Rovers can take lightly, are we, Joe? I mean, yes, we need to win, and Rovers are expected to win, but they do have quality in this team, do Whitehaven?
They do. They've got plenty of special players who, if they turn up on the day, they can pull off something miraculous, beat that man one-on-one, and they're a team capable of scoring tries, that's for sure.
Andy Ellis from Acton halfback moves that ball out wide, and that's the first touch there for Steve Snitch. Here's Tim Spears now. Rovers into the Whitehaven half then. On the 40 now. Paul Cook. Is this Paul Cook's first appearance at the Big Fellas for Rovers in the first team? I'm not sure if it is or not. That was on the last tackle. Rovers have turned possession over. And here's Whitehaven now. But I'm not sure. Has Paul Cook played in the first team for Rovers down at the Big Fellas?
Asking me that one. I've not commentated in 3 weeks. Thanks a bunch, Ben. Moving swiftly away, right, Whitehaven. I'm not sure that was the right option on the final play from Cook. You'd have perhaps thought a little dink over the top. You'd have thought Jai had the pace on his man out wide there, but instead Cook opts to run it. Indeed,
so here are Whitehaven then. Through the hands it goes. And here's Sam Brooks, the loose forward. James Newson, the hooker, is a real threat for Whitehaven in this team. Offloads the pass on that occasion. There's a mini break. It's a good break from Ted Chapello. Makes a good few metres. And here's the dink over the top. That's from Grant Gore. Will Sharp fields that well, but it's good chase from Whitehaven, pinning Rovers back. Grant Gore, of course, when we went up to Whitehaven, Joe, caused Rovers a lot of problems up at Whitehaven in that victory in the league.
Yeah, definitely another one of those players we need to look out for. And that's a great run forward from Snitch. Impressing early doors.
He is indeed. And here's Ben Blackmore now. Coming in from his wing to look for work, hungry for work. Ellis. Baldwinson to Spears. Rovers on their own 40 now. The hand goes up from the referee. Here's the last tackle. It's a kick from Sykes. That's a better kick from Rovers. It's a good positioning though from the fullback Louis Jouffret. And there is the return. And he gets Whitehaven 25 metres out. And here's the break now from the winger. It's Craig Calvert. Better kick from Rovers on that occasion, pinning Whitehaven back in the corner, Joe. Definitely well placed, and that's important that we keep them into the corners. Jouffret had nowhere to go there, so unable to make decent yardage down the middle. Here are Whitehaven through the hands of DNA to Grant Gore. On to McAvoy now. Newton waits. Through the hands it goes again. Here's Chapello. Getting to a lot of work early doors for Whitehaven is Ted Chapello. And here's Newton with a kick from Acton half. Will Sharp across the cover, takes that one easily enough. And that's a good return from Will Sharp, but he's met by a good chase from Whitehaven. Here's Cording at Acton half-back, but good work from the markers from Whitehaven. Ed Chamberlain there, able to snuff out Cording, sorry. Here's Blackmore now. It's a good run from Blackmore, makes good metres for Rovers. Rovers now just short of the 40. Paul Wood finds Blackmore. Here's Wood again. Looks for the offload, finds Ellis to Sykes. Sykes to Spears. Unfortunately, that is behind everybody, so Snitch has to retreat to pick that one up. It's getting through a lot of work early, Steve Snitch, Joe.
Definitely, and when the ball goes behind there, you've got to be determined to get there. Not what we wanted from Sykes on the kick. It's down the centre of the field and it's straight down the throat of Jouffre. Whitehaven are able to bring it back, but it's a great chase from Rovers. The kick's been all important so far. Neither team able to start with good field position, so neither having an attacking opportunity so far.
Here is Jordan Burns for Whitehaven on their own 30 now, centre field. Newton moves that ball out wide to that right hand side. It's Chris Taylor. Well tackled by Paul Cook in defence. And here are Whitehaven now then. Good play from Whitehaven, moving the ball through the hands, and there's the last tackle. They're just short of halfway, so Newton finds Grant Gore. Gore will kick over the top. That's great positioning from Hitchcox. Has he stayed in? No, he hasn't. So Hitchcock's not able to keep his feet, Joe, and maybe that one was going out on the full. He could perhaps have let that one go, but instead Whitehaven, Joe, are going to have their first real attacking chance.
Calamity from Jai. His feet just fell from under him. Ah dear, sometimes he doesn't have the best of times under the high ball. I don't know whether that was going out on the full, but perhaps the option was to tap it back inside, because it was always going to be difficult to keep without following the momentum of the ball and going out of play. Unfortunately it does, and Whitehaven have the first real chance of the game here.
They certainly do, and they are now 15 metres out centre field. Trying to work over that line. Good defence from Rovers up to now. Here's Dion-I. That's neat play from Whitehaven. They're working the opportunity well. It's Louis Jouffre now. Newton waits 8 metres out. And that's a good break from Richard Beaumont. Gets 2 metres away. Newton. Dion-I to Grant Gore. Gore moves that ball on, but good defence from Rovers. Read that play well. Able to snuff that chance out. There's the last tackle now. Again, a ding from acting half. It's too long. So Rovers able to hold out on that occasion, Joe, and that's going to give them some confidence.
Indeed, Whitehaven trying all the tricks, and that's a great break from the tap from Sharp. Surely that's a bit of holding. Important Rovers broke out there. But yeah, under pressure early doors. And weren't shown once here at the first attempt.
Here's Jordan Baldwinson now. Rovers can take confidence from that, because the past couple of weeks the goal line defence for Rovers hasn't been the best, has it? So Rovers able to snuff that first real chance out for Whitehaven.
Particularly disappointing men's here. Getting over from acting out last week, and Paul Wood there knocking on at the roof. Unfortunate end to the set, but at least the ball's been turned over in Whitehaven's half. It's a far less threatening position than the last set.
Indeed it is. So we're scrum down about 35 metres out from the Whitehaven line, centre field. Coming up to 9 minutes gone here at the Big Fella Stadium. Still Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 0. And so out to the base of the scrub is Newton to Grant Gore. Good defence from Rovers though on that occasion. Grant Gore again moves that ball out wide to McAvoy. Through the hands it goes. Here's Sam Brooks, but that's good defence from Rovers, Joe. Pushing Sam Brooks back and making him retreat those few metres.
Yeah, the last couple of sets, there's been a bit of a fragmented defensive line. It's not been going up evenly, but that's the kind of desire we need to see there. Pushing back, trying to gain those extra metres through your defensive sets, trying to make sure we end up in the right areas of the field.
Great defence again there from Steve Snitch. There's a kick from Whitehaven, which Will Sharp fields. Comes back in field towards centre field. Tries Tries to get away, but good defence from Dionne, so Sharp has to play the ball to Blackmore. Blackmore quick to scoot from that's in half and offload to Ellis. Ellis with the scoot himself. That's good play from Rovers, Joe. Bringing that ball out from their own corner and making 25 metres in a tackle.
It is, it's daring play on the second tackle, hit on the third, but they've been rewarded for it. Paul Sykes did well there to the ball, he had me worried for a second.
Paul Wood moves that ball out to Cording, spins away from one and manages to dump it over the top back to Wood. Wood takes on the line himself again. Rovers into the Whitehaven half. Here's Jordan Baldwinston now. Sykes to Cook. That's good defence from Grant Gore though, Joe. Read that play superbly and had Paul Cook wrapped up straight away.
Yeah, a bit of hesitation with ball in hand from the Rovers and it had been read well. Good spot. Oh, that's a great hit from Giles. Can't quite get it behind the line, but it's got a pin in the corner here. They've got struggle to break out, and the line's up there to meet them in the second.
That's great play from Rovers. A great kick it was as well. And Whitehaven now having to work out from their own corner. They're still in their own 20-metre area. If Rovers can keep the discipline here, here's Dionne. This could be the first real chance for Rovers to get some territory. The ball's been knocked on. I was saying Rovers could get some territory, Joe, from a kick which wouldn't make a lot of ground. Even better, the ball's been knocked on the Haven 20. And Rovers with their first great opportunity now to post the first points.
Well, great design there, right from the kick chase all the way through that set. Put Whitehaven under pressure. They weren't able to break out, and pressure leads to mistakes like that. And mistakes give us the field position from which we can mount our first attack.
So Paul Sykes feeds that scrum to Ellis. Here's Paul Cook. Cook to Sharp. Sharp out wide to Hitchcock. Sharp moves back on and moves round on the outside. Good play from Will Sharp there, trying to work the position. Sharp from that's in half finds Cook. Cook to Tim Spears. Spears though is well wrapped up by Whitehaven on that occasion. Ellis finds Cook again. Cook to Sykes. Sykes out the back to Will Sharp. Sharp takes on the line. A penalty for Rovers for a high tackle. There could possibly a passer could have gone out wide, Joe. Ben Blackmore had a run in the corner if he had done.
Blackmore was screaming for it. The defenders in two minds on that right edge, but Sharp saw the gap and went for it. High tackle, so we've got another full set here, pressuring the line.
Here's Paul Wood with that first drive. Ellis comes down the short side again with Paul Sykes. Tries to spin away, but good defence from Whitehaven. Just holding Paul Sykes a metre short. Ellis to Paul Wood. Wood spins over, does he? He's going to be held up. Yes, he is. So he'll go back 10 metres and play that ball on the 10-metre line. Rovers hammering on this Whitehaven door, Joe. Can they find a way over? Here's Sykes. A pass on the bounce which Milner has to take. Milner comes inside, offloads. Here's Snitch. Snitch spinning away. Steve Snitch, there's another penalty. So Rovers, Joe, hammering on this door at the minute. Can we find a way over?
I don't think you'll ever get a ball Leighton holding at the play the ball there. And he didn't need to. The Whitehaven defence will back up the line. But Rovers, another full set of tackles. Surely we've got to get on.
Paul Sykes gets away from one. But again, great scrambling defence from Whitehaven. Ellis. Paul Cook on the bounce to Will Sharp. Sharp out to Milner. Milner takes on the line, forced into touch. So the chance has gone, but Joe, Rovers have bombed an opportunity there, but you've got to give credit to Whitehaven. That's fantastic defence on their own line.
Well, like we say, it's tight down at the bottom. They need every point they can get, and Whitehaven are determined today. They're coming up in their defensive line. They're sliding across, as we saw there, to force Jai out. It's admirable, truly admirable, but Rovers should have found a way over there. That many tackles on the opposition line. Can't afford to give up chances like that.
And so Whitehaven feed that scrum. They're in their own 10-metre area now. They just need to clear the lines here, Joe. Get a good set, get a decent length on the kick, and try and get Rovers penned back and having to work from deep instead of the amount of pressure Rovers have had on that Whitehaven line.
Definitely. I didn't catch the beginning of your comment there because there was an issue with the mic, so I was speaking to the cameraman. Cameraman's Chris, by the way, today, because Jamie's doing a wedding, so thank you to Chris, and also thank you to the Chris if you're watching this on the DVD.
Indeed, so here at Whitehaven. That's a better set from Whitehaven. They've got to the 30-metre line, so it's going to be Dione kicking from deep. That's a good kick as well. He gets Ben Blackmore, juggles with it, and then manages to retreat. He gets away from one, offloads to Will Sharp. Oh, good job. Will Sharp was alert then, Joe. That could have come up horribly for Ben Blackmore then.
Unbelievably lucky for Sharp. I'm not sure what's the thinking there. That tackle on Gordon was atrocious. The mind's gone twice there in the space of 10 seconds. What was Ben Blackmore thinking with that offload? Just take the tackle, lad. Take the tackle every day of the week.
And so, Paul Cook, that's a shocker from the penalty. First receiver on halfway. I think maybe perhaps he was thinking what he was going to do and looking towards what he was going to do, and he's put the ball to ground.
Not sure if the air pressure's gone down or something, but that was unbelievable. 20 seconds of sheer mindless rugby. Stick it up your jumper, lads. Keep hold of the ball and just complete your sets. Oh dear.
Chris Taylor takes that first ball in for Whitehaven, and he will playing that ball now to Newton. Newton moves that ball out to Craig Calvert. And that's a good offload there to Ted Chapelhow. Newton thought he was going to scoot, then he found Grant Gore. Gore's moved that ball on to Richard Beaumont. Whitehaven just going through the motions, but they're making the yards. Here's Sam Brooks, they're up to the 20. There's the last tackle. It's Dione, he's going to put that ball in the air. How's Will Sharp under this? Has he got it, Will Sharp? What's the decision? It's a knock-on by Whitehaven on the last. That'll be the turnover. Whitehaven's, Joe, on that set, they're making good yards on almost every play. They're making 5-10 metres, working their way up to the 20 from halfway, and that was a good set from them.
Yeah, worrying. A couple of Rovers players there with their hands on their knees as well. Fatigue shouldn't be setting in after 17 minutes, but it certainly appears to be. It is a hot day out there. The sun's shining. Looks like the ball was just knocked onto Will Sharp, so we've got to play the ball on the 10 metres. We need to keep hold of the ball a bit, Ben, because we're doing that much defending that it's always going to cost you a bit. You always got time more.
Indeed, and here are Rovers. Then it's Jai Hitchcock's from that turnover. So yes, as Joe said, we're coming up to the 18th minute. Still no points here at the Big Fella Stadium. A flat atmosphere around the stadium. Rovers, of course, are not able to make the top four now. Rovers just need something to lift the fans and get this place walking a bit, don't we, Joe?
Absolutely, a bit of flair. That's what we said we wanted to see today. We want a spectacle. Having said that, I asked them to do something a bit fancy. The moment they try and do it, it doesn't quite come off. You're throwing the ball about like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Not getting in.
Sharp, not what we wanted to see.
Cracking up last week. Yeah.
So it is going to be a scrum down head and feed on the Whitehaven 40 now. And there's that first drive from Whitehaven. It's Ed Chamberlain with it. Dione attacks in half-back. He's taking a turn. Makes about 2 metres before he's tackled. Newton moves that ball in field. That's good defence though from Rovers. It's Richard Beaumont tackled just short of halfway now. Gore. Through the hands it goes. But the ball's put down by Whitehaven. It's a scrappy game at the minute, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, neither team getting in true control, but both having their spells. When we're truly getting into the opposition, we saw it there, we had 3 men in the tackle, we put them under a bit of pressure and it leads to a mistake. Both teams are up for it in certain exchanges though, and whenever they do, it's been a game full of mistakes. One team just needs to be pedalled to the metal for a full 10 minutes and you fancy they'll come away with a couple of tries.
Indeed, here's Jamie Cording. I think Rovers just need at the moment, Joe, just to complete the sets, try and pin Whitehaven back. When they had that pressure on the Whitehaven line, yes, they defended it, but Rovers looked dangerous, didn't we?
We would take it from side to side well, but sometimes the ball going to ground far too often, and you know, sometimes it's going to bounce kindly for you, but it's not a way you want to attempt to break the opposition down, certainly. It's a nice inside ball there from Sykes, but Wood knocks on, and then I thought the ball came round his head. Whitehaven break away though, and it's Hay now playing the ball on the 40. Some mad scenes we're seeing here. Rovers need to get in control. We're not quite getting all our men back.
So here's Craig Calvert for Whitehaven. They're up to the Rovers 30. This is a great set for Whitehaven. Newton moves that ball out wide to Brooks, to Grant Gore, ducks under one. Was Baldwinson who ducked under, but good defence from, I think it's Paul Cook over on that far side. Here at Whitehaven, then Brooks again. They're up to the Rovers 10. They're still not on the last tackle, so they've got at least one tackle in hand. Newton. Here's Dionai. That's good play. Whitehaven looking to dance away here through Louis Jouffre. This is the last tackle, says the referee. Whitehaven 8 metres out. Here's Dionai. He's going to put a kick to the corner. How's Hitchcock's? A disappointing end to there, Joe, to what was a really promising set for Whitehaven. And Hitchcock's has been pulled back by the referee. But Whitehaven looked really dangerous, Joe, there, and they could have caused Rovers a better end to that set. Could have been dangerous.
Yeah, they come forward well, receiving the ball after the knock-on. And that just wasn't smart from Hitchcock's. It was a poor kick from Hay that was easily taken without any pressure upon him. But then he's looking to make the break. We know you can get through with Fenjai, but tap the ball in the middle, it's not difficult.
Matt James has come on for Rovers. He's replaced Jordan Baldwinson. We've got 21 and a half minutes gone here at the Big Fella Stadium. Surprisingly for some, maybe not, I don't know. It's still Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 0. Here's Sykes now, shows it twice. Takes on that line himself. He's done by Dionai. He's lost possession, and here goes Calvert down the wing. He's almost away from Blackmore. And the referee says that's a 0 tackle. And they've bombed it. Ed Chamberlain puts the ball to ground. But Rovers, you can tell it's almost like we're a defeated team at the minute, Joe. They're just, things aren't coming off for us, and we're looking flat at the moment, aren't we?
Certainly, you've got to give plaudits to Dionai in that case, though. It was a great tackle on Sykes, so firm that it knocked his own scrum cap off. But what was happening there after that play the ball, I don't know. We've said pressure's been leading to mistakes. It wasn't there for Whitehaven, and they've just coughed up possession needlessly.
Here's Tim Spears now, gets Rovers up to halfway. Plays the ball to Ellis. Ellis finds Matt James. Matt James gets makes good meters, offloads to Ellis. Ellis gets Rovers another 10 metres. Will Sharp has to move in and play the ball. Here's Paul Wood now. This is better from Rovers. Rovers just short of the Whitehaven 20, centre field. It's come right with Sykes. And again, Rovers have coughed up possession. Paul Sykes looking to work the ball out wide, Joe. I'm not sure if it went forward or not, but straight into the hands of Whitehaven.
Lack of precision on the pass again. It's poor execution time and time. The ball's gone to ground far too many times this game from Rovers, and you're not going to break down teams playing like that, no matter who the opposition is. No disrespect to Whitehaven, but we should have put points on the board by now.
Here's Grant Gore, he's kicking from inside his 40, he's gone for a 40-20, he's got one, you know. He's got the 40-20, that's a great kick from Grant Gore. Yes, the referee's given it to Whitehaven, he was fully 5 metres inside his own 40. Jai Hitchcock's hadn't dropped back, Joe. And Rovers are going to have to defend a set in their own 20, and this is a great chance for Whitehaven to put the first points on the board after 25 minutes.
Well, he's having a great game. It's Grant Gore, isn't he? But perhaps it is going to be a bit of daring play like that that's going to come off and going to result in the first try of this game, because it's not looked like anything's going to do it so far. Whitehaven with another opportunity. They've not been able to break us down yet. Surely they can come up with something this time.
They can come up with a penalty for not clearing the ruck, says Mr. Crashley. So they're going to get another set. Here's Gore again. He moves that ball on. Whitehaven have made an interchange. Ben Davies has come on. He gets them 5 metres away, just to the right of the uprights. Gore again, out to Dion-I. Gets away from Cording. Is he over? He's over, you know. Whitehaven have got the first points of the evening. I think it was Dion-I, was it? Yes, it was. From the first, took the pass from Grant Gore, able to skip around one and get the ball down just to the left of the uprights. We've said it's been coming, Joe. Rovers not good enough in the opening 25. And it's been shown by Whitehaven posting the first points. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 4.
We often say that in a tight game it takes something special to change the momentum and cause a break in the deadlock. Sometimes that'll be a big hit in defence, sometimes it'll be a bit of magic from the half-back, a sidestep, or sometimes it'll be a good return of the ball. On that occasion it was Grant Gore's 40-20. It gave Whitehaven that boost in confidence, and Dion-I there showed his strength to evade the defenders and make sure he got over the line there. Poor from Rovers, plenty of men with the opportunity to take him down, none of them doing so. And so they look certain to add the conversion here. Sure enough, Stu Frey does just that. And they go into a 6-point lead, you'd have to say deservedly. Just under 15 minutes to go. Rovers have had plenty of opportunities, but they've not taken any of them. Whitehaven with the lead. Paul Sykes here then preparing to kick off. The time's been taken off by the referee whilst the water's coming off the field. We need a big chase here, we need a big response from the Rovers. We need to show we're up for this game, Ben.
Indeed we do, Joe. There is the kick-off. The referee said it was knocked on by, lost possession by Whitehaven, but it went backwards. There's been an interchange for Whitehaven. I'm not sure who he is, but he's recognisable, and there's a penalty for a high tackle. So a relieving penalty for Whitehaven, just what Rovers didn't want. After that Whitehaven try, it allows Whitehaven, Joe, to build some momentum and get some more field position back.
Absolutely, that's careless from the Rovers. We needed to really nail into them, not allow them to follow up their try. Well, it's important we made a big response. We didn't do that. Gonna have to make sure we make up for it in this coming set.
Here's another Chapello, it's Jay Chapello. So got 2 Chapellos in the Whitehaven team. Here's Brooks. Here's Dion-I again. Offload. So that's a good break from Ben Davies, and there's just no support for him there. The chance was there. Gore again goes himself, but good defence from Spears. Read that play well. Newson now. He's going to kick from Acton half. That's great positioning from Will Sharp. Superb positioning from Sharp there, Joe. Read that play superbly and able to mop that up well. And Rovers now trying to work out from their own 20.
Absolutely, the chasers were bearing down on him, but Sharp read it perfectly, took the ball on the bounce and came storming up into the line, got us on the front foot with that next play, and meant we've been able to break out here from what could have been a tight position for us.
Ben Blackmore gets Rovers up to the 40. Teesdale is on for Rovers, so Andy Ellis has gone for a breather. Plays the ball to Blackmore there. And Steve Snitch with the kick. Interesting choice of kicker on that set. I'm not quite so sure about that one. But either way, it was straight down the throat of the Whitehaven team. And once again, Whitehaven now looking to work out.
So far, of all the players, Steve Snitch has possibly been the player who's looked most up for it today. He's been running the ball in hard and he's been getting into his defensive work, but not so good with the boot, and we give away a penalty there. Paul Wood speaking to the referee, and Chapello is down holding his head, conceding another penalty. Whitehaven being put under no pressure therefore in their own 40. Complacency from the Rovers is costing us yet again.
A lot of people said before this game how much would Whitehaven miss Jesse Joe Parker. Of course, he's a former Rover, he used to play down here. But they're not missing him at all, are they, Joe? This is an excellent performance from Whitehaven. I know Rovers possibly low on confidence after not making the 4, but they'll have wanted a big performance today, Rovers. And Whitehaven, if anything, are matching them, if not bettering them.
It is an excellent performance. All the players can be proud of what they're putting on show, but having said that, there were times when they were pressing our line and they were unable to find a way over. Jesse Joe's a very powerful player. You fancy he'd have added something to the main attack, and Rovers have this issue of conceding tries from the ruck. Jesse always seems to smuggle his way over. Chapello's leaving the field, it appears. It's been a concussion interchange, so they'll now have time to monitor him with the doctor, see if it is indeed concussion, and if so, he won't be able to return to the field. Got to hope he's all right to continue.
Indeed, so 10 minutes left here in the first half here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 6. Jay Chapello off with a concussion interchange. I think that means he gets 15 minutes. So in effect he'll have about 25 minutes to try and come round a bit either side of half time. A forward pass though from Whitehaven, so turning possession over. That'll be a scrum down head and feet to Rovers just inside their own 40. 10 minutes left here. Joe, Rovers need something. We need a score before half time just to lift the atmosphere and just to lift the players.
Yeah, absolutely. Plummer's Day, that forward pass. We've got the scrum, we've got ourselves set. Get your hands off your hip, lads, and look like you want to play rugby. Rugby league players, it's the dream job for so many people out on these stands. We've got ourselves a penalty now. Offside at the scrum. Let's get down their end of the field and let's try and do something a little bit special. Let's give people something to cheer about.
So Rovers then, Teesdale takes that tap, finds Foster to Teesdale again. And you know what? Is he in? Oh, he's just managed to stay in the field of players, Teesdale. Here's Cording now. That would have summed up Rovers' first half, would that? Teesdale had found himself in touch. Did really well to stay in the field of play. Here's Paul Sykes. Finds Paul Cook. Cook offloads. Cook. Sorry? Here's Matt James now, pumping those legs. Rovers 5 metres away, just to the left of the uprights. Teesdale offloads to Paul Wood. Here's the last tackle. What's the option? It's Paul Cook. Rovers are spun over. No, he's held up. Once again, outstanding defence from Whitehaven. But Rovers once again, Joe, unable to lock that door.
You've got to applaud Whitehaven. Did well to hold out, but there were stages there where we had 5 on 3 on the short side and it just wasn't been sent. We've not found the pass today, and when we have, the execution's been poor. Story of the season, some might say, but we've got Whitehaven pinned in this corner. let's at least show some desire. Let's pin them back and let's give ourselves another opportunity before half time comes. McAvoy then coming down this right side. It's Newton at the foot of the ruck. He brings it inside, and Whitehaven, we are meeting them well, to be fair. So at least we're showing we're up for it again.
Indeed, and here are Whitehaven then. It's Dion. He's already scored one try this afternoon. He's looking to dance through, but better defence from Rovers. That's a good defence, good play from Whitehaven. That's better from Rovers. Whitehaven only up to the 30 and they're on the last tackle. So having to kick from acting half-back. And here's Will Sharp now. Curtis Quinn is on for Whitehaven. And Tim Spears comes off for Rovers. And on comes Jack Bussey. Snitch with the offload to Blackmore. Blackmore, that's better for Rovers. That's a good run from Blackmore. Makes a good 15 metres, gets Rovers just short of halfway. Here goes Hitchcock's now. Offloads to Blackmore again. Blackmore skips away from Dion. Bussey. On for Tim Spears, gets Rovers inside to Whitehaven 30, centre field. Teesdale waits. Here's Cook, puts a kick towards the corner. Where's the chase from Rovers? That's poor defence from Rovers, dropping off the tackles. I have to say, Joe, a kick is only as good as a chase as Paul Wood comes off for Rovers, replaced by Almondroyd. It was a great kick from Paul Cook, just where you would want him to put it, but that Rovers defence not able to mop up and making that kick not as what Rovers would have wanted.
Absolutely, it was beautifully placed from Cook. It was running on behind the man, and the chase was there. We just couldn't keep hold of him. I don't know what we were thinking, but there we have it. Blimey, Grant Gore's gone and kicked another 40-20. No. It looked it from here, but the referees ruled otherwise. Saving Rovers bacon a little bit 5 minutes from time, because I'd have fancied Whitehaven to go over again there.
That is almightily close. The referee's staying 1 yard. I think to be fair, Joe, it probably was a 40-20, but the referee and touch judge maybe not best positioned to see that. So Rovers have got an escape there, I think. Need to make the most of this escape, and instead they've got a second time, Joe. A penalty at the scrum for not packing down this time. Paul Cook gets Rovers to halfway, and Whitehaven need to sort out the discipline of these scrums.
Got to love a differential penalty, and we've had 2 in one game. That's a treat for you. Here we are then, we've got an opportunity. That were a forward pass Plummer's day, and it has been spotted from Teesdale. Unbelievable. We give ourselves an opportunity, and you know, Whitehaven just gifting us the chance there, bringing us upfield, and forward pass like that, just a lack of execution in this half from the Rovers. We don't deserve to be as close as we are in this game.
To be fair, that was extremely poor. Whether it was the fault of Teesdale for delaying the pass or the fault of the runner, either way, it's a let-off for Whitehaven. They can take confidence from this, Joe. If Whitehaven can go in at half-time with this lead, to keep Rovers pointless in 40 minutes going down this slope, they'll take a huge amount from this performance.
To an extent, but you have got to remember there's some quality players in this Rovers team, and they can't play as poorly again in the second half. They're too good to not come out with something in that second period, so Whitehaven would want more than a 6-point lead going into half-time, and they'll be looking for it from this set.
Newton finds Dion. A finds Gore. Gore dinks it for the corner. That's an awkward bounce. Hitchcock does well to take that. He was facing his own line. It went through the hands and he was able to turn round and pick the ball back up. Here's Will Sharp now. Grant Gore again now. That's another superb kick, Joe, into that corner. And it nearly came off for Whitehaven again.
It is. Whitehaven are up for this, like we say, but bounced kindly in the end for the Rovers. Just need to complete this set now, Ben. I'd be happy going in with the scoreline now. It is like it, we say, 6 points, that's nothing. And mind you, we might add something. Ben Blackmore going down the outside. It's great tracking across though to get him out to touch on this halfway line, but he's holding his shoulders, Blackmore. That'd be a huge loss. He's been one of the players up for it today. He's been bringing the ball forward so well, but he's holding his shoulder, and this is a worry.
It is indeed 6 Whitehaven players then went across, getting together in a group like that, all congratulating each other. That was great defence from them to force Blackmore into touch. It did go down the outside, like Joe says. He's currently got looks like a shoulder injury. We've got just under 2 minutes on the clock. The scrum is going to go down. Blackmore still receiving treatment. The referee waiting for it. Blackmore's going to come off for half time. We're going to see an interchange here, are we? No? I thought he was coming off. He is going to stay on. He's a warrior, is Blackmore, says Joe. But he is holding the arm. He does not look in a good position at all, Joe. Surely, so close to half time, make the interchange, get Ben Blackmore off the field and assess him at half time.
Having said that, Ben, you don't want to waste an interchange for just a couple of minutes. He is coming off, but Tim Spears is going to come onto the field. Try and work out what's happening with the team here.
I'll let you work that out. Tell me when you know.
Interchange for Rovers, number 13, Tim Spears, replacing number 5, Ben Blackmore.
It looks like Cording for the remainder of this half has moved out to wing. And Alex Foster's gone to the centre. So if Rovers don't have enough injuries. Right, Joe, you can explain what's going on.
It looks like in attack, Cording's going to play out on the wing, which is somewhat uncharacteristic, and Foster will be out at centre. But in defence, Paul Sykes is going to come out to centre, and Foster will hold his place in the second. I'd be sending a kick over to this side because, good as he is, Jamie Cording, he's not got the pace. There is a man with pace though down that right flank. Can we get them out to touch? Unfortunately we can't. I'd be sending it this left side. Calvert surely has the burners over Cording.
You would have thought so. Whitehaven attacking down towards that right hand edge. It's coming infield now. It is a kick towards this corner. How's Cording underneath it? It's come up for Whitehaven. They've got the offload away to Davies. Davies inside. Whitehaven are over again. And would you believe it is Dion A again for his second try of the afternoon. Rovers are in all sorts of trouble at the minute, Joe. It was a great kick. Of all people, as Ben Davies put the kick in. We mentioned about Jamie Cording in an unfamiliar position over on that left hand, on this right wing, Joe. He couldn't take the ball. A pass inside and Whitehaven over again. Rovers in big trouble. It's Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 10.
Yeah, I think when Whitehaven got the ball there, most of the stadium knew that that was going to be a kick into the corner for Cording, and there were 3 Whitehaven men in attendance of the ball. It was going to be a difficult one to take for the most experienced of wingers, but not accustomed to that position. He didn't stand a chance. Comes kindly for Whitehaven, and A's there in support, goes under the sticks. They're going to double their lead with this conversion. That's going to be the score at half time. It'll be 12-0 when Dufresne sends this over, and it's disappointing for the Rovers. For certain they can pull it back, but it's going to take a far better performance than we've seen in this first half.
Louis Louis Jouffre has converted. So 2 tries from DNA in this first half. First on 25 minutes, the second right on half time, both converted by Louis Jouffre. Joe, not what Rovers will have wanted, not what the fans will have wanted. A very, very disappointing first half, and Rovers look low on confidence.
Indeed, but like you say, 3 losses on the bounce, Ben. It's hard not to be low on confidence. Now they've got to get themselves up for it, though. They've got to talk in the changing rooms, and they've got to make sure we need to finish this regular season on a high. We need to go into the closing end performing like we can. We need to give the fans something to shout about, otherwise they might not stick around for this next 7 games.
Rovers haven't lost 4 games on the bounce since 2006 when they were relegated. Be interesting to see if Rovers can come back in this second half. The half-time score at the Big Fella Stadium to silence around the stadium is Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 12. Welcome back to Big Fella Stadium for today's leading up to the second half of the Kingston Press Championship between Rovers and Whitehaven. Whitehaven with a 12-0 lead. As Rovers come out for the second half, they're going to be playing towards the new stand in the second half. Joe, if you're John Sharp, what have you said in that dressing room?
Well, you'd probably think he's maybe reminded them they're professional rugby league players, because the execution not been there today. I don't know whether sun's out, maybe heads have gone. 3 losses on the bounce, and knowing that realistically there's not much to play for in this game could be psychologically affecting them. But every now and again the player seems up for it and they're running with plenty of passion. It's just the pass isn't there when we're going forward, and we're conceding possession far too much. In fairness though, could be the conditions, because Whitehaven have been affected likewise. They've not been all-stars today. Game's still up for grabs. Players need to do something about their performance.
Next score is crucial in terms of the outcome of this game. I think that's probably fair to say. The way that Rovers have played in the first half, they're very disappointing, and if Whitehaven score first in the second half, you fancy the heads might go down even further, and we could be looking at 4 straight defeats for the first time since 2006.
Absolutely, and that is not an achievement they wanted to rank up this season, but it's looking like it could be likely. They've got to do something about their performance, like we say, but if they do, then they're talented enough players to run away with this game. It's only 12 points the difference, and how we've not scored a try, I don't know, because you look at the calibre player we've got out there on the fringes. Jai Hitchcock's out wide, a spectacular play with Will Milner. There's not a player with better hands in this team, just inside of him. Let's get it over to this left side, let's use these players. Steve Snitch, he's been up for this game, he's been running forward with aggression. Let's put the ball out wide a bit more. There were times in that half when we had a 5-on-3 and we didn't make use of it. It's a cardinal sin.
Whitehaven are out for the second half. They're going to get first use of the ball in the second half. Out comes Mr. Croshley and the 2 touch judges. It's the Big Fella Stadium. It's a Saturday evening. It's the last round of the Kingston Press Championship before the split into the 8s. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 12. Let's see what Rovers can do in this second half. There's the kick-off from Paul Sykes. Dione is going to take it, and Jay Chapello has come back out for the second half. Joe, a concussion interchange with 10 minutes left of that first half. He's recovered up to half time. I think the danger for Whitehaven, Joe, in that first half has been in the halfbacks. Dione and Grant Gore have been running that show in that first half, haven't they?
They certainly have, but they're both players who've caused trouble for the Rovers before. We should have known about them, we should have been closing them down more. Grant Goyen particularly, he's running forward so well with the ball, he's making use of it, spreading out wide, and his kicking game, 140-20, just sublime.
So here to Whitehaven then, with Ben Davies. His kick led to the second try for Whitehaven just before half-time. And that's a good kick from Whitehaven. Paul Sykes, interestingly, Joe, I think Paul Sykes looks to have moved back to fullback for Rovers in this second half. Be interesting, at least they did on that defensive set, so have Rovers rejig the three-quarters line again.
Well, Will Sharp's still playing central, and I don't fancy he's gone into standoff. He'd have perhaps gone out to the wing, and Sykes has played fullback plenty of times for Bradford before. I think it might have just been that defensive set has covered her.
Here's Ormondroyd. That's better, a half break from Ormondroyd. Well held by Chapello. Here goes Teasdale. Teasdale finds Sykes. Sykes to Will Sharp, chiming into that line. Out on that right-hand edge. Sharp does well to stay in the field of play. Here's Spears now. Good defence, though. Chapello involved in the tackle. Rovers on the 10-metre line. Here's the last tackle, says the referee, so it's Paul Sykes. He'll dink one over the top. That's a good take, though, from Whitehaven. It's Jordan Burns does well, and he gets out to the field of play. So that's a good set from Rovers, pinning Whitehaven back, and this is a great defensive start. Steve Snitch picking up where he left off in that first half, Joe, and this is better from the Rovers.
Great enthusiasm, great desire. We're getting up into them, and we're making sure that we're going to end this defensive set in a good territorial position. Make sure we get another chance to attack.
Whitehaven on the 20, and it's the last tackle, so Newton's going to kick from that's in half. Again, Paul Sykes dropped back to fullback, and Will Sharp out to the wing. So I think maybe fancy Paul Sykes, it looks like he's playing at fullback in this second half.
It appears Paul Sykes is playing fullback in defence, and then Sharp's going there in attack, with Sharp defending out on the wing to overcome the frailties under the high ball for Cording. It's a bizarre system, but hey, if it works, Ben.
Indeed, so here are Rovers then with Ormondroyd up to the 20 again. Teasdale offloads to Matt James. James almost away, but McAvoy just holds on, and there's a penalty for Rovers for not clearing the play of the ball. So a chance for Rovers on front of the 6. Jack Bussey's going to take that first drive. It's quick thinking from Bussey, and he's over. Oh, no, he's short. I thought he was over. Rovers need to move the ball out wide, surely. Bussey does that. Cook loops it over the top to Sharp. Sharp moves it out wide again. He gets the ball back. Will Sharp. Rovers a metre short. Spears, Cook is going to have to take that tackle himself. Teasdale pointing. Milner wants it out on this left edge. Here's Bussey again, offloads. The ball's put down. I thought there was a double knock on then, but Whitehaven have come up with the ball. And once again, Joe, Rovers with a spell of pressure on that Whitehaven line as they had in the first half, but not clinical and not finishing the opportunity when they had it.
Yeah, another opportunity, pressing the opposition, but again, we appeared devoid of ideas. We didn't have a true game plan. We're throwing the ball about, but not with a true idea of how we can find a way through. And sure enough, we didn't find a way through. We cough up possession again. Matt James was not ready for that offload from Jack Bussey. It should never have been given. And that's a kind bounce for Whitehaven. They're able to get up in the face of Jai, but he never gets tackled by the first man with that fend.
Hitchcock takes that tackle, a metre in from touch, plays the ball to Milner. Milner finds Steve Snitch. Whitehaven have re-brought Richard Beaumont, is back on for Whitehaven. As here's Will Sharp now. It's Curtis Quinn who's come off for Whitehaven. Here's Ormondroyd on halfway. Plays the ball to Teesdale, and here's Jack Bussey now. Manages to offload to Sykes. Sykes moves it out wide. I think that's to Cording again. Here's Sykes. He's going to give that ball some air. Bounces kindly though for Whitehaven, is it? Oh no, it hasn't. Oh, Rovers though penalised for offside in front of the kick and not giving Jouffre the 10 metres. It was a great bounce for Rovers if they'd kept the discipline and stayed on side. But Mr. Crashley says they were in front of the kicker and has penalised Rovers.
The kicking game's been lacking in this game, but that one was perfectly weighted, and if you're offside, you've got to make sure you give the player 10 metres. We didn't do that, and again, we've allowed Whitehaven to come up the field. We're just piggybacking them in terms of possession, and to give it to them in our half, and you know, they can't score tries if they're down there end of the field, Ben.
Indeed they can't, and juggling with the ball on the 40 there is Whitehaven. Here's Dionai. He moves that ball inside to Sam Brooks. Brooks gets Whitehaven up to the 30. Eye again. Through the hands it goes. Here's Davies. Grant Gore is organising over on this right hand edge. It's now with Grant Gore. Gore cuts out one man and it's a great kick through. Oh, that's a lucky try. A great kick it was from Grant Gore. It ricocheted off a Whitehaven player straight into the hands of another Whitehaven player. It was Chris Taylor who manages to get over the line. It's going from bad to worse for Rovers. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 16.
There were complaints about that try, but Whitehaven showed willing. They've sent the ball out wide. They put through the kick. They were being daring in their attacking play. They had an idea, and it's come off for them all. Be it not the most direct of routes, you'd expect Jouffre to send this conversion over as well, sending them in to an 18-point lead. That's a 3-score deficit with half an hour left on the clock. It's going to be difficult for Rovers to overcome, and they certainly won't do it playing the way they are. They've looked a little more up for it in this second half, but the execution's still been lacking.
Lacking it has Jouffre's 2 from 2 this evening. This is probably the wildest dreams to Whitehaven. They would not have thought heading down from Cumbria after 2 defeats previously up in Cumbria this year that they will be coming down and 10 minutes into the second half with a 16 lead, possibly 18-point lead if Louis Jouffre can convert this, which he has, straight between the uprights. It's Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 18.
Well, so far we've not been responding so well to scores from the opposition. We need to make sure this is a deep kick from the kickoff, and we need a good chase, Ben. We have been more up for it in this second half. That's been pleasing to see, but we need to be consistent. We need to persist with that, and nothing to stunt the momentum quite like the ball falling off the tee.
So there's the kick-off from Sykes. Again, straight down the throat of Dionai. And here come Whitehaven again, then working out from their own 20. I fancy we could be seeing another change momentarily. I think we might be seeing the return of Jordan Baldwinson. Here's Chapel Howe, and there's a penalty for a high tackle. Once again, Joe, you mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, Rovers piggybacking Whitehaven up the field, giving them the territory. And at the moment, Will Sharp almost keeps that ball in, but just can't. At the moment, Rovers If you were watching this game, you'd think this table was the other way around and Whitehaven were 5th.
Indeed. Perhaps this is just a case of one side truly has something to play for. Meanwhile, Rovers don't so much. Their hopes of gaining top 4 were gone last week when Smeaton ran up the field to score that try for Sheffield. And perhaps we're seeing the effects of that carry over to this week.
Here's Dione again. Chapelot, the dummy runner. Oh, that's superb. Take your hat off. Sometimes you just have to say, yes, okay. That's quality. It's Scott McAvoy who's over. Dione found Grant Gore. A great cutout pass. And Dione through an enormous hole. It goes from bad to worse, I'm afraid, for Rovers. 2 tries in 2 minutes. And it's Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 22. And we're going to see any moment the return of Baldwinson and Wood.
Well, we need Baldwinson and Wood to get back onto the field. We need to get into them now. We need to rough up this Whitehaven side because they're the ones playing the fancy rugby. They're the ones throwing the ball about with flair. And the execution was there this time from them. That was perhaps what they were lacking in the first half. McAvoy's gone over there. It's Mr. Whitehaven who scored the try, and he was ecstatic with that because he knows they could well have sewn up the result with that try. There's 28 minutes left on the clock. There's still time for Rovers, but they don't look like a team who can pull this back. Ellis returning to the field as well then. Teasdale's not had the best of days. Here we are then, Jouffre lining it up, 100% so far with the boot. That one goes to the right of the post. Perhaps a glimmer of hope from the Rovers. 4 scores and we would take the lead.
Successful conversion for Whitehaven. That takes the score to Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 22.
Rovers have changed the whole front row, returning a Baldwinson, Ellis and Wood. Teasdale is off. Matt James is off, and I think Jack Ormondroyd as well. So back to the first choice, what you would argue probably is Rovers' first choice front row this year. And Andy Ellis straight away involved in the tackle. Hey, misses out Chapelot again.
Number 23, Luke Teasdale, and number 27, Jack Ormondroyd.
Through the hands it goes. Whitehaven then attacking once again, holding a 22-0 lead with just over 25 minutes left to play. Through the hands it goes. Dione has caused so many problems for that Whitehaven team. And here they are again, up to halfway now, Whitehaven. That's the last tackle, says the referee. It's going to be Graham Gore. Good pressure there from Jack Bussey. Maybe not the kick Whitehaven will have wanted. They're still on the last. No real pressure there, Joe. Whitehaven, the bounce of the ball favoured Rovers in that it went back to Grant Gore again. But there's no real pressure on him for that second kick, and Rovers, if they'd been a bit smarter, a bit quicker, could have pinned Grant Gore back, maybe either on his halfway or just inside the half.
Indeed, we had an opportunity there. We could have come away with possession in a good area to mount an attack. Instead, we let them get the second kick away, and we're starting from our own 20.
Here is Jamie Cording. Ellis finds Will Sharp now. Baldwinson. Good defence from Chapelot. Wood. Runs straight into Ben Davis. Baldwinson. Tries the offload. Rovers have to try things like that, Joe. The offload wasn't on. It was excellent play from the Whitehaven defence, getting in between Baldwinson and the Rovers line, able to turn possession over and get the ball back on halfway.
Yes, we have to experiment. Perhaps we have to take risks, but you've also got to keep your eyes open. McAvoy had stayed there for the interception. Sure enough, Whitehaven come away with the ball. We do have a bit of time, Ben. We can afford to come forward, complete our sets. We can't just throw the ball about and get abandoned, and there's got to be that communication there. Whitehaven now bring the ball down the left. They're looking to squeeze in down the left edge, and they could well have got over here. The touch should just stayed short. And the scrums be awarded head and feet to Featherstone. Lucky escape.
A very lucky escape for Rovers. That could have not that it isn't curtains already with a 22-0 lead. If Rovers can turn it on in the last 20 minutes, anything can happen. But I fancy a 28-0 lead or even 26 could possibly mean maybe just too far. But Rovers in possession after that knock on in the corner. Ted Chapelhow has come back on for Whitehaven. So we've got two Chapelhow brothers on now. Andy Ellis scoots from Acton half. Here goes Hitchcox. I think he was maybe trying to steal a penalty. He's offloaded though to Snitch. Snitch alert to that. That's great play from Snitch. Rovers in the Whitehaven half. Move it out wide to Bussey. Bussey moves it on. It's through the hands. It's with Cording out on that right hand edge again. Here's Cook. It's good. Oh, that's a great, clever. Well, that's a nice idea from Paul Cook. Maybe not the best execution of it. Trying the reverse kick to try and catch Whitehaven out. It comes to nothing, and Whitehaven have got a player down. So a stoppage in play. Paul Cook trying things. It's got a clever mind as Paul Cook, always looking for the different angles, the different opportunities. But on that occasion, not coming off for Rovers.
Yeah, we need to be experimental. We need to try things, but all players need to be on the same wavelength. And unattended in taking that ball was the Whitehaven man. Did the Rovers players know that kick was coming, and should we be kicking to the side where Jamie Cording stood out on the wing? No offence to Jamie, but his strength is in running with the ball straight at a man and trying to power through it. It's not taking the ball high in the air.
Whitehaven player that winger out on that far side. Craig Albert is okay. Still limping, but he appears to be okay. Whitehaven in possession. Switch it to the opposite wing now. Good play from Rovers on that occasion. Chris Taylor already got one try. Burns from Acton half back will have a scoot. Gets away from Steve Snitch. Plays the ball to Newton. Through the hands of Calvert. Here's Dionne now. A loose pass from Whitehaven. They've lost a bit of momentum there. Looking to retrieve it. That Rovers line able to move up and snuff that opportunity out. Here's the last tackle. Whitehaven on the 40. As it has done on so many occasions this afternoon. Terry Newton kicking from Acton half. Paul Sykes is able to pick that ball up and offload to Will Sharp. There's been a noticeable feature, Joe. A lot of kicks from Whitehaven on the last have been from Newton at dummy half, not giving the Rovers defence any opportunity to try and smother it.
Well, there's been variety in terms of options from Whitehaven on the kick, which means you can't close everyone down. Knock on at the ruck there from Rovers, concedes possession on our own 30. We're punishing ourselves here.
Whitehaven with a 22-0 lead. We've got 23 minutes left on the clock. The small band of Whitehaven fans away to our right are in voice. The rest of the stadium is very, very, very quiet. I think Rovers just need one try. If we can get one try, it'll lift the team. and I fancy we could maybe go on to get a second. Rovers have come up with the ball from the scrum. Great play from Rovers.
You don't see that often. Pushing at the scrum and Andy Ellis then pounces on it. We come away with the ball. Extreme rarity, but perhaps that's just what we needed to give the players a lift.
Something as simple as that one thing. A push at the scrum, a scrum against head might be all Rovers need. Here's Baldwinson now. Quick thinking from Andy Ellis there. Here's Paul Sykes now. Will Sharp struggles it. Still in possession. Manages to offload again to Sykes. Baldwinson finds Cook. Cook with a looping pass out wide to Milner. Milner cuts down that wing. Offloads to Hitchcox. That's off Whitehaven. Hitchcox doesn't like it. Time's going to be called off here.
Yeah, Grant Gore there coming across with the shot on Hitchcox just as he was taking the ball. By no means was he chuffed about that, and there's a coming together of the players.
That should be Rovers' head and feet.
Be interesting to see what comes of this. The head and feet has been awarded to Whitehaven. No action taken for what occurred afterwards. It's been a well-mannered game so far, and I think Grant Gore knew what he was doing there.
I fancy it. I think Mr. Crashley has probably refereed the game very well, to be fair, Joe. We don't often say much about referees. Jack Bussey looks to have a head injury, but a referee is happy enough that he can continue. And here are Whitehaven then, with Ed Chamberlain. Plays the ball to Dion I. As Sam Brooks comes back on for Whitehaven. Whitehaven back into the Rovers half then. Through the hands on this right hand edge for Whitehaven. They're up to the 40. Still got tackles in hand. And here's Richard Beaumont. There's the last tackle. They're just a metre inside the 30. That's a good kick out. Paul Sykes under that one. He's lost it backwards. What's the referee going to give here? Lucky for Rovers that Will Sharp was there, unable to wrap that ball up. Here goes Ellis, and that's in half. Quick thinking from Will Sharp to cover Paul Sykes there, Joe. And Rovers with a let-off.
Tell you what, thank goodness he was there, because the Whitehaven players were circling like vultures around that ball. Sharp quickest on it. We've now been awarded a penalty. 19 minutes on the clock. You'd think there's too much to do, but let's get down the other end of the field and see if anything's possible.
So Rovers are going to restart this set on halfway. Will Milner takes a tap to Paul Wood. Paul Wood looks for a gap. Runs straight at McAvoy. Snitch. Baldwinson's put it down, and that is the story of the day. Nothing going to plan, nothing going to hand. It's been a sorry state of affairs this evening, Joe.
The halfbacks haven't had the execution today, and so when Baldwinson was looking for the pass before he'd received the ball, it was never going to come off, really, was it?
So Whitehaven once again are in the Rovers half. Can't remember, Joe, I don't know if you'll know, probably possibly not, the last time Rovers were nilled at home. That's an interesting stat, if you can try and find that one out, anybody. But at the moment it's looking that way. There's a dab through. Paul Sykes once again at fullback. That's a move that seems to have worked well in this second half, Joe. Aside from that one error with Paul Sykes when Will Sharp was covering, Paul Sykes dropping back to fullback has done a reasonable job in this second half.
Apart from last kick, of course, when he dropped it backwards and Will Sharp had to save his bacon. Yeah, it's been an unusual system that we've adopted in this second half, with Ben Blackmore being unable to return to the field. Hope he's okay for next week, but Jai's got the ball away to Milner down his left-hand side. Milner looks for the ball inside, but the men have overrun it. The ball's put behind, and Milner's got his head on the ground. The players are packing down for the scrum. The execution's not been there all night, Ben. Wasn't there yet again, and we've not deserved this game.
The story of the night for Rovers by a long way. A great opportunity for Milner down that left-hand edge. An accurate pass inside. He had two players inside him, and all it took was a pass to hands, possibly through a second pair, and Rovers were in under the sticks. But once again, the execution lacking. The story of the day has not been the best finish to the season for Rovers. 3 defeats on the bounce coming into this, possibly looking at 4 defeats now on the bounce, going into the bottom 8s, and Rovers trying a short play with Milner and Hitchcox. Hitchcox dumps it back inside to Ellis. Here's Steve Snitch. He's been the one bright spark for Rovers this evening. He's had a great game for Rovers. Here goes Paul Wood for the sticks. Still going, but it's held up. It's Paul Wood. So Paul Wood will have to play that ball again, and here's Baldwinson now. Again underneath the sticks, Ellis. Cook. Out the back to Sites. Sites flicks it on to Will Sharp. And once again, a Rovers mistake in what was a great position. Joe, can Rovers get over the whitewash?
It appears not. We've just not got that cutting edge tonight, and it was Grant Gore again jumping out of the line, spotting the play that was coming, and we didn't have the guile to find a way around that. The ball goes to ground, and lacking in execution yet again. We've been more up for it in this second half, but just the quality, it's been poor.
So here at Whitehaven then. Working out from their own half now, Whitehaven. Looking for the offload, but manages to hold on that occasion. Newton acting half back. There it is again, Joe. Said it already a couple of times today. The kick from acting half. Not giving Rovers chance to put any pressure on the kicker. There's a mini break from Hitchcox. Looks for the offload, and Whitehaven have come back up with it.
Offloading on the first tackle. What in the world are we playing at? Whitehaven are in the ascendancy now. It was a kick from acting half. We didn't have a chance to close it down, but it wasn't the best of kicks, and we'd have had an opportunity to start our set outside of our own 40. That would have done me, Ben. Jai should have just played the ball.
Here's Chapel Howe. That'll be Jay Chapel Howe. Grant Gore attacked in half-back, finds Dion I with a short pass. But Rovers defence able to snuff Whitehaven out on that occasion. Whitehaven, are they over? Is he? Held up. I thought for all the world Whitehaven were going to get that ball down then. I really did think he had that ball down. It was Richard Beaumont. But a great effort from Rovers. As the physio is on, we've got a play with blood on his head. It's Sam Brooks. But Joe, a great effort from Rovers there to hold the Whitehaven player up when he looked for all the world a try scorer.
Certainly did. clever little bit of play to give Beaumont the opportunity, but Paul Sykes, he got across, and what a try-saving tackle that was. He was diving to the ground to make sure he got under it and wouldn't allow Beaumont to ground the ball. He had the size on him, but Sykes was more determined.
That's the source of enthusiasm that Rovers will have been wanting throughout the course of this match. Paul Sykes able to hold up Richard Beaumont and snuff out that opportunity. John Sharp has got a massive rebuilding job to do for Rovers leading into these middle eights. Rovers will find out, of course. I think it's on Wednesday who they will play. And the way that if they play like they play today, Joe, they're not going to make much of an impact, are they?
No, but having said that, I don't think we'll play like we have today. We've got 7 big games to try and get our hands on some silverware then and get a day out on finals day. That's where we all want to be. We all want to be competing for these things, and there's some good sides we've got to play against. Today perhaps we felt we didn't have anything to play for, as opposed to Whitehaven, who certainly do, and have certainly been up for it today. And they've had the cutting edge, which is why the scoreline is as it is.
Here's Teasdale. Is it Mel Foster, sorry? That just sums up the match completely. Ellis with the pass. And Rovers just stood and watched. Here's Paul Sykes. He's going to kick for the corner for Hitchcox. Hitchcox kicks on again. And Rovers over for a try. Great covering play from Whitehaven. That is absolutely fantastic from Jordan Burns. Credit to Jai Hitchcox for creating the opportunity. As Jack Bussey comes off and Jack Ormondroyd comes on. Rovers with the first real sniff of the try line, Joe. Hitchcock's great play down that wing, but credit to Jordan Burns for snuffing that chance out.
Great idea from Jai, and it nearly comes off. That's exactly the kind of thing we've wanted to see, but perhaps we left it too late. Whitehaven, though, they're all out, and Burns, he got onto that ball, but then he was looking for where he can go next, and he's got his side on the front foot for this set. It's been the story of the game. Whitehaven have well and truly been up for this, and this doesn't look like a side who could be in a relegation fight. They look like the side that's about to escape it.
They certainly do. A lot of teams in that situation, you fancy the fullback had come across, taken the ball and just run it dead and settled for a second set. There was none of that from Jordan Burns. He felt confident he could get out of that in-goal area, and get out he did. And he's tired himself out doing it. He's struggling to catch his breath. But instead of Rovers maybe starting from the dropout on halfway or just inside the Whitehaven half, it's a scrum on the 20. Here's Will Sharp. Nothing's gone for Rovers today at all, has it? Even things like that where, you know, he could have put a foot in touch or, you know, in the dead in goal, anything like that, which on another day would have gone. It's just not gone Rovers' way at all.
No, but you do make your own luck in this game, and we've just not been going about things in the right way. When your passes are going to ground, it's never going to come off for you, but that's a great run down the middle by Ormondroyd. He's putting a couple of strong runs today, and then it's calamity again as the ball bounces off the chest of Sykes. He's tapped it back to Ellis, so it's come away all right, but he's come away with an injury from it.
Yeah, Paul Sykes has stayed down. And here's Hugh Frey. That's a great tackle from Will Sharp. Rovers currently without a fullback. Paul Sykes has stayed down, so the referee has stopped the clock, because the position that Paul Sykes is in, it would have interfered with the Whitehaven play. We've got just under 10 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 22. Paul Sykes is down. The thumbs up for Paul Sykes. He appears to be okay, Joe, which is good for Rovers. The last thing they'd want to do, Paul Sykes, of course, is playing fullback in the defensive line. So the last thing Rovers will want to do will be to lose Paul Sykes.
Absolutely. Already being down in the backs with Ben Blackmore leaving the field, it causes a major issue. Neither of our hookers, Andy Ellis and Luke Teasdale, really being able to fill in different roles, so we'd certainly have a problem. This perhaps the most bizarre system we've seen since that game over at Whitehaven when James Mendiki was playing both fullback and hooker for the end of the first half. Dione
finds Jouffre out to that left-hand edge, and here at Whitehaven now. That could have been called as a high tackle. The touch judge is on. And Whitehaven have a player down. Penalty is given for the high tackle. So Rovers once again piggyback Whitehaven upfield, and we've got another stoppage in play. Four tries for Whitehaven this afternoon, 2 from DNA in the first half, and then Chris Taylor and Scott McAvoy in the second. We do have a stoppage in play. The physio is on, the doctor is on as well, which is never a good sign when the club doctor's on, Joe. Where do Rovers go from here in the middle eights? Well, bottom eight, sorry.
Gotta say, you've been dreaming, Ben. Like I say, I think a turnaround is more than possible because it's difficult to be motivated for this game. It's the last game of the regular season, and whilst points carry over, we're in a position where we're outside of relegation, and because the top four go into the semis in our bottom eight regardless, we stand very little chance of dropping out of that. It was always going to be difficult to get ourselves psyched up for this, and we haven't, and the players haven't been particularly up for it today. Perhaps a change of personnel might be needed as well.
It was Ed Chamberlain who was down for Whitehaven. He is okay now though. So Dione. And here at Whitehaven again, they're looking for more points. This is a massive boost for Whitehaven going into this bottom eight of sorts, as Dione moves that ball out wide. It's been a real thorn in the side for Whitehaven as Dione today. Him and Grant Gore, the two half-backs for Whitehaven, have caused so many problems to this Rovers side throughout the whole match, and Rovers just have struggled to cope at times, haven't we?
We haven't, like we say, they've both caused problems from us before. They've not been closed down enough. They've been given too much space rather, but they've been willing to use it. They've been daring in their play, and when they have been daring, things have come off for them because the passes have been accurate. Simple as. It's not a difficult game, Robbie. If you put players in space, they'll score tries, but they've got to take the ball cleanly to have time. Oh, and there we are, daring with their play again, making use of the ball, bringing the ball out wide with dummy runners. Burns goes over in the corner, easy as you like. That tops off the game for Whitehaven. It's the cherry on the cake, and people are starting to walk out now with 7 minutes to go. They have deserved this, to be fair to them, Whitehaven. They've come a long way, but they've got the 2 points. 2 points they wouldn't have expected to get, but 2 they certainly deserve.
They certainly do, and this will give them a massive boost going into this bottom eight, not only to win at the Big Fella Stadium, but to keep Rovers to 0 for them. That is a massive achievement for Rovers coming in, for Whitehaven coming into this game, and they can take a lot of heart and a lot of confidence from this.
Certainly, and it's not been a game without its spells of pressure for the Rovers. We've had opportunities on their line, but determined defence and a lack of execution from us has prevented a score. You know, this is a team that's come off the back of losing at home to Dewsbury and losing against their rivals Workington. They would not have been expecting a victory here today, but they've come out and they've earned one. Prior to today,
Here's another stat for you. Whilst that kick is kicks, that's a superb conversion. Here's another stat for you. Before today, Rovers had the third best attack in the league. Only Lee and Bradford have scored more points. But tellingly, we do have the 8th worst defence in the league. Only Workington, Whitehaven, Hunslet and Doncaster conceded more points. So going forward, Rovers are certainly, aside from today, have certainly got the quality, but the defensive line, Joe, at the moment, there's a lot of work to be done.
Again, I do think those are stats we can perhaps explain. Today is a separate issue in that we know we've got a team of talented individuals who can score tries, but like we say, perhaps it's not been the right circumstances for them to show what they can do today. In terms of defence, you mentioned 39 players have pulled on the shirt this season for us. That kind of chopping and changing means you don't know the abilities of the player by your side. That's always going to cost you in terms of your defensive line. Sykes then bringing forward the ball onto that 20, and Sharp's there, sends it inside to Cording, and he gets us just short of the 30. It would be nice to end this game on a high. We don't like to get nilled on our home ground.
Certainly don't want to be nilled on our home ground. The stadium is emptying after that last try. Here goes Paul Wood. Paul Wood plays the ball on halfway, and he's down on his haunches for a minute. Whether he's just taking a breather or he's got a knock, I don't know. Snitch finds Baldwinson to Paul Cook. Down to the inside too. Paul Cook through a gap. Offloads. It's not come off any hands. It's a knock on from Whitehaven. A lucky break there. So Rovers are going to have head and feet at this scrum. Andy Ellis has stayed down.
Big Fella Stadium, 1,305. Thank you very much for your support.
1,305 here at the Big Fella Stadium. That's the last thing though. The clock is stopped again, Joe. Andy Ellis down, but Paul Cook showing some real quality, getting through the line there, getting the ball over the top to Baldwinson, able to kick it on, and Whitehaven knocking on. So Rovers with an opportunity here for some points.
Paul Cook, he's not had the best of games today, but he showed there he's got talent in abundance. That heads up rugby that other players don't have. He's got talent that you can't buy, and a knowledge of the game for playing so long that he thinks that half a second faster than other people. And when he stepped inside, everyone was looking for the kick or the pass outside. He didn't come. Instead, he was able to find a way through. Andy Ellis limping off the field here. That is a worry. Will Sharp getting the sponsors around the match. He's had a good game today. He's been covering a lot. Personally, for me, the way he's shown himself in his first game with teammates that were unfamiliar, only announced the other day that he was coming to the club. Snitch would get my man of the match, but Sharp definitely deserving.
So Steve Snitch is the Rovers man of the match. Will Sharp is the sponsors man of the match. Here's Sykes now. Foster. The ball's come loose somehow. Here's Cording. Still going Rovers. Here's Tim Spears. Teasdale finds Paul Wood. That could have been an obstruction there with Jamie Cording. Sykes. Cook. Able to get the kick through towards Snitch. Rovers, can they pin him back this time? Yes, they can. So Rovers force a dropout with 3 minutes left on the clock, and it's the first dropout we've forced in the whole match, Joe. The first repeat set we've got, and can build on this and hopefully get some points on the board.
Yeah, that was another clever kick behind the line there. We had one in the first half, but we didn't take advantage of it with the chase. Crucially, the chase was there this time. We ended the game on a bit of a high. It would be great to get a try, because otherwise we've got no Rovers TV teaser.
Very true. Here's Ormondroyd. The story of the match, an offload from Ormondroyd straight to Whitehaven. Rovers looking to force the pass, turning possession over, and I fancy this could be a 0 against for Rovers to do. Sorry, 0-4 against 0-4 Rovers. Confidence is low. They've got a lot of soul searching to do and a lot of work to do ahead of those middle eights.
You said middle eights again. Get out of the way, lads. We don't need confrontation in these closing exchanges. There, we've got it. He's had issues with his temperament this season. Paul Wood's been sent from the field. Perhaps the best thing, so it didn't cause further incident in the remainder of the game. It's just important he's available for these coming fixtures, because he's an important player in this side, Paul Wood.
He is indeed. Whitehaven, a player with blood, another Whitehaven player with blood on his face. So the clock is stopped. We usually put on at least one Rovers try on the teaser to try and encourage people to buy the DVD. I don't fancy we're going to sell many copies. I don't fancy there'll be a teaser for this week, should I say. If you do, here are Whitehaven again, looking to finish with a flurry though. Newton, Gore again. Here's Jordan Burns again, on this near side. Through the hands it goes. Here's Ted Chapelhow. Newton trying to steal on from dummy half, but well wrapped up. They're going to play the ball to Ben Davies. Oh, Grant, it was going for Grant Gore for a drop goal. He's still got a drop goal.
Local Whitehaven by number 15, Grant Gore. That takes the score to Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 29.
It has to be said, the pass from Ben Davies from acting half-back back to Grant Gore wasn't the best. He did juggle the pass, but he was still able to turn, get the drop goal away, rub salt in the wounds almost. In the 79th minute, Joe. Rovers 0, Whitehaven 29.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a more unorthodox drop goal. There goes the hooter. Chapelhow runs the ball back, takes the tackle. That's the game, and Rovers have been nilled on home turf. It's not something we see often. It's not something that's pleasing to see, but Whitehaven have earned that win, and we need to show a vast improvement next week.
Indeed we do. The story of the match for you. 2 tries in the first half from Dionne, both converted by Jouffre. Second half tries from Taylor, McAvoy, Burns and Gore. Taylor, McAvoy and Burns, 2 out of 3 converted. Then Grant Gore dropping a goal in the last minute. Joe, a very disappointing performance on Rovers and a lot of work to do.
It certainly is, but like we say, we have got some talented individuals. We can pull something off in these coming games. We can provide the fans a bit of entertainment, because today just wasn't of the quality we're used to seeing. It was always going to be difficult. 3 defeats on the bounce coming into this being the 4th. It's like starting all over again though in these next 7 games. The points carry over, but we can get ourselves going again.
Positive, that's so full time here at the Big Fella Stadium. Rovers suffer the 4th defeat on the bounce for the first time since 2006, and they've been nilled as well. Featherstone Rovers 0, Whitehaven 29. John, a disappointing way to end the championship season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've been in the joint less than 3 weeks, and I've seen some improvement in the team over the first week at Lee. I thought we probably got what we deserved against a really good Lee team. We got off to a good start, didn't we? We played for half an hour, some good football against Lee, but conceding 50 points is unacceptable. I thought we fixed things up against Sheffield, improved a lot. Could have possibly have won the game. Got right back into it. I think we were 10-0 up, got off to a good start, fell behind, and then got back into it again. So we built a bit of belief, although we weren't perfect. We built some belief that we were making progress and improving. And then we come to today's game, and I thought from minute one, I thought we were poor. Offensively, I think we made wrong decisions. We couldn't complete. 55% set completion's not good enough, whilst the other team complete at 90 plus. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough because it puts massive pressure on your defence. And for large parts of the game, I thought we did defend well, but that weight of pressure and that weight of possession against you eventually gets you, and it draws out your energy defensively and when you carry the ball. And we just didn't look smooth with the ball at all today. It's just not acceptable. It's just not good enough. I wanted to see a team out there that, you know, it looked like it meant something to them, and I think for large parts of the team it did, and maybe for others maybe it didn't.
12-0 down at half-time. It was a disappointing first half, to say the least. You go in at half-time, what do you say to the players to try and motivate them to come out for the second half?
You've got another 40 minutes to fix it up. You've got to play a bit quicker, you've got to complete better, you've got to kick better, you've got to execute your plays better and play at the other end of the field. But ultimately we're 2 tries down and we're 40 minutes to get it back, so there's an opportunity for us. Thought we started decent, but that soon fell away. So it's you know, the standards that I want. I've been in the joint less than 3 weeks, like I've said, and there's parts of this group and parts of the makeup of the squad that just need reassessing.
Is there a malaise within the squad? I mean, over the past few years, that they've tended to get beaten heavily rather than just beaten. And is it a mindset? I
think that defence is a mindset. Definitely, I totally agree with you. And the points conceded has been far too high. Probably, certainly this year. I'm not sure about your stats on the last 2 years. You're probably right. But I know that defence is an attitude, and to concede the points that we've conceded today and over the last 2 weeks probably sums it up.
Brought Steve Snitch into the squad this week. How do you think he went in his first game today?
Super. Played really, really well. Carried the ball well, defended well, played for 80 minutes, looked composed. He's a bloke who I know, and a coach I signed him from Wakefield, and he was really good for me for about 3 or 4 years. And again today, he's had 2 hit outs, played with a jab in his ankle, and was head and shoulders the best player on the field for us.
Ryan Verlinden's gone out on loan to Doncaster as well. Is that to try and get him match fit?
We've got an opportunity for Ryan to get some game time at a better level and not sat watching or having limited game time. Ryan needs to push out and get some fitness levels into him and improve his fitness levels, and also working at Doncaster gives him an opportunity to get extended game time. We've got a few front rowers here. I think we've got too many front rowers, to be honest, at the club. I'm not having a crack at anyone, but the balance of the squad for me and the way I want to work is just a little bit different probably to what other people may well work, but it was difficult to find a spot for him on the things that I'd seen on DVD and some of the games that I'd seen live.
And just looking ahead now, we're in the Championship 8s. If we'd won today, we would have guaranteed for a spot. As it happens, we could slip down the table again. We've got 2 weeks to prepare for that now.
Yeah, you get what you deserve in this game. You absolutely get what you deserve. you work hard and you put in and you have a dig, and generally if you work hard you get your rewards in this game. It's an honest man's sport. Today we got what we got, and wherever we start in the playoffs, then that's where we start, and that's what we have to do. We have to reassess, have a look at the team, have a look at how we play. We're going to have to make some changes because people can't keep the spots after that, and we'll give some people opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have had if we'd had a real good performance and a win today.
What's the news on the injury front?
Blackmore's looks like he's damaged his AC joint, his shoulder, so not sure how bad that is. We'll get him assessed and find out where he's at.
Obviously when Blackmore went off injured, you had to shuffle the pack around a bit, and the defensive line, Paul Sykes went at fullback. How do you think he did at fullback?
I think that we've been really unlucky with regards to injuries, but that happens in games, and this is the adversity that I'm talking about. We lost Hardman after 5 minutes the week before against Sheffield, and we had to reshuffle our back line, and the plan that we had for the bench players had to change then. But you get on with it. You have to deal with that. That's part and parcel of the game. And again today, losing a wingman does knock you around. We had to because we didn't have any outside backs on the bench. They're almost a luxury in themselves. We had back rows who can play in outside back positions. We moved Sykes around. Sykes didn't play at fullback the entire game. He rolled around and moved up into the attacking line, dropped back to fullback again. So there's a little bit more than just Sykes playing fullback.
We've got a lot of versatility across that back line. Players all across the three quarters who can play in any of the three-quarter positions. Does that help to you as a coach?
Massively. Players, especially if you've not got a massive budget and you haven't got lots of money to spend on your recruitment, players who can play a variety of positions are absolutely crucial. This day and age, it's really important that you've got some versatility to you. It adds to the squad, and I think in itself these types of players are invaluable.
So looking ahead now, we're just waiting on the results for tomorrow to find out. Is the aim now to go and win this Championship 8?
Well, after today's game, it'd be remiss of me to even talk about winning a competition. I think it's one step at a time. I think it's one training session at a time. I think it's about not looking too far ahead, but looking at that next game and focusing on ourselves and not the opposition, but trying to fix up and trying to improve this team and get every last drop out of them. It's new to me. I've walked into this club and it's new to me. I'm finding out about players and what they can and what they can't do, and I still am, and I found out lots today about some individuals as well.
Looking ahead now. Thanks, John. Thanks for your time.
Can I just ask about the incident with Paul Wood? It looked as though it could have been a bit of gouging again. Do you know exactly
I'm not
what
sure.
it was for?
I'm really not sure. Seriously, I'm not.
Which could have implications at the disciplinary.
I don't know what the report was.
Yeah. Well, the lad seemed to be, pointing towards his ear as if he'd implying that, but we'll have to wait and see with the video.
But speculation
but it was. But with you being in charge of the referees in your previous job, and this side really has been hit hard by poor discipline. Do you think it's something you'll be able to sort out easily?
I think that understanding what the referees are looking at and what they're trying to achieve is important for players. Yeah. I think knowing how far they can push the boundaries, I think, is important. But that just doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that will take a long time, and just basic understanding of the game and what you can and what you can't do. And I think that's the key. I mean,
even today it wasn't a heavy penalty. I mean, they even won the penalty count.
I love you,
So hopefully it'll be good also for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think that defences are put under massive pressure when you make errors, but also when you concede penalties, and teams that concede back-to-back penalties generally suffer. We're trying to work on our technique that helps us not concede penalties, and that'll be an ongoing process for us.
Okay, thanks very much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.